So what I'm going to go through tonight is the overall sort of path to making life multiplanetary. So we're doing a lot of good things at SpaceX. I mean,
this is the final go no go poll for Flight 3 of Starship. Evaluate 2.
Go.
Stage 1.
Go.
Stage 2.
Go.
Flight directors, go for launch. We have liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange. Next cue. Vehicle supersonic. Stage separation.
of a planet. Okay, it needs some work, but it is it's really the only option for becoming multiplanetary. And long term, we can warm up Mars, and we can we can densify the atmosphere, and there'd be a liquid ocean on about 40% of the surface. So we could make it an Earth-like planet long term. So let's see. We've learned a tremendous amount from when we started the company, and at first we're unable to get even a small rocket to orbit, to now where we've done 327 successful launches. So I'm predicting the ship. The ship will take longer. So the ship, I think we will want to have at least 2 consecutive successes of a given design that land at a specific point in the ocean or smash into a specific point of the ocean before we try to bring it back to the launch site. Because we do not want to rain debris over Mexico or the US. So my guess is probably next year is when we will Godzilla's. So there's going to be 2 launch towers here, and then 2 launch towers at the Cape as well. So we'll have 4 launch towers for Starship, probably by sometime next year. So here we're planning to build another roughly 6 boosters and ships, and that production rate will increase a lot next year. That's why we're building the giant factory. Ultimately, we'll need to build a lot more ships than boosters, especially for Mars, because it's you'll actually want to use the ship, take apart the ship and use it for raw materials. Like I think ultimately probably a ship every, multiple ships per day, basically. And then next year, we're aiming to demonstrate ship-to-ship program for the NASA to get back to the moon. So we'll want to have a ship that is, well, it's going to be a specialized ship for the moon, like this. So the moon, obviously, there's no mechazilla, so we need landing legs. And you don't need a heat shield, and you don't need flaps, because there's no atmosphere. So the moon ship would be specialized. Now, ultimately, I think we want to build a moon base Alpha, and have a permanently occupied base on the moon. Like, that would be super exciting. And so you'd have a bunch of ships that are specialized for going to and from the moon, but they never come back to, they never land back on Earth. They just would dock with propellant tankers to get orbital. So if you look at Falcon 9, we're not going to do the length to diameter of Falcon 9. That would be crazy. But Falcon 9 is a very long rocket. So I suspect it'll probably get a bit longer than this. But at 200 tons per flight, fully reusable, essentially create a kind of a propellant depot ship. The propellant depot would look more like a hot dog than like a sphere. It's really just a long ship with a lot of insulation. So the rocket is the horse, and then this is the cart. But ultimately, we'll need all these things: lots of power generation, mining in general, ice mining, propellant production, long duration life support, a lot of construction, and I think probably a rough order of magnitude guess for what you need, how many people do you need for a self-sustaining city, is about 1 million, and several million tons of cargo. So, and then long term, we'll probably have some offshore launch sites. You can just imagine all of these starships waiting in orbit for the planets to align, and then this gigantic Starfleet taking off from Mars. All right, so we're actually going to do this.